Alright YouTubers, what's going on? Back at you with another video today on a new knife here. This is the Dervish Knives EDC Midtech, also known as the Skinwalker Edition. Dervish Knives is a custom. John Gonzalez is actually his name. He's a custom maker, and the name of his company is Dervish Knives. And he is out of Colorado, so they're made right here in the U.S. So it comes in a nice, cool little pouch. Got your Dervish Knives logo here. That's removable if you want to put that on your stuff. Cool little pouch, cool. So this is a Midtech knife made here right in the US of A, and it is a beauty. First impressions of the knife, really dig it. Dervish Knives I'm kind of new to. I'm not terribly familiar with a lot of his models, but I like to look at this. I looked at some of his website when I heard this was released, and he did a really limited run on this knife. Sold out really quick, so there's not a lot of these out there right now. So it is a Midtech, but it is a pretty limited run Midtech. So it's let's go ahead and just go over the specs a little bit. We're looking at a 3.4-inch blade. The steel is CPM 154, so good steel. Not, fantastic or anything, but really good EDC steel. You got the it's 7.75 inches in overall length, and it weighs 4.5 ounces. So it's really lightweight. It's a good EDC size. It is 648, 6L 4V titanium, of course, stone washed. The clip is also titanium here. It's got a contoured G10 backspacer, and the pivot here is actually titanium on a precision hardened stainless pivot. So like the screw itself is titanium, but the pivot is steel inside. So. And it's got sealed bearings, which you can see here that the action on this knife is ridiculous. It's very, very smooth. It's one of the best I've felt. If you don't get your finger out of the way, it'll shut on it. So that's one of my favorite things about these, is that how smooth this knife is. So it's obviously titanium frame lock. Yeah, that's kind of the specs of the knife. It's a good EDC size knife. Let's do some size comparisons here for you. With the EDC or Skinwalker Edition, there's a Tad Dauntless, very, very similar in size, almost identical, and a Chris Reeves large Sabenza 21. And then we'll do a small Sabenza, so you can see the differences in size. So it's a middle-sized folder is what I like to call them. It's not large, but it's not too small. You can see it's bigger than a small Sabenza, but smaller than a large Sabenza, and about the exact same size as the Tad Dauntless. So very, very good size. Probably my go-to favorite size. I do like the large Sabenza quite a bit, more so than the small. I wish they would have made an in-betweener. I've said that before. But back to the Dervish knife here, the Midtech. So first impressions when I got this knife was, obviously I opened it, and the action was, like I said, I've said before, unreal. It's so smooth. That was my biggest first impression, how smooth the action was. It was very impressive. I mean, you can easily open it with the thumb hole that way. You can flick it open. You can do your middle finger flick, or you can do a slow open. I mean, however you want to do it. It's got an incredible action. It's very solid. No blade play. Very solid lockup. Ergonomics are very good, minus one little thing, and it has to do with the pocket clip. It's not bad. It's kind of a different design. I don't know why there's this raised part here. Than if it would have just gone kind of flat with the pocket clip, I'm sure there was a reason behind the design. But I noticed it does kind of. I don't want to say it creates a hot spot, because it doesn't. It's just you notice it. Does that make sense? Like, you notice that it's there. A lot of times when you open a knife, let's say the Dauntless for instance, you don't really notice the clips there. When you hold that knife, you certainly don't on a Sabenza. It's pretty. It's kind of just melt. It just flows into the frame so well. You don't even really feel it's there. With the Dervish Midtech, you will kind of EDC Midtech here. You will feel that pocket clip a little bit. So. It's not a deal breaker, but if there was one negative I could give the knife, it was the design of the clip, and there's probably some reasoning behind it. And I'm actually curious to talk to John Gonzalez through the. He actually PM'd me the other day on a USN forum about this knife a little bit, and just kind of pick his brain a little bit, and know why that clip is designed that way. But it's not a deal breaker, like I said. You just notice it. It doesn't create a hot spot. It's not like the Riate Remedy. It doesn't create a nasty hot spot. It feels comfortable in the hand. It's very comfortable ergonomically, but you do notice it. So that's the best way I can describe it. The backspacer also has a lanyard hole, which is nice. If you want to do a lanyard, I don't care. And it kind of comes up raised out of the knife, which is cool. So really heavy stonewash on this. Like, kind of a nuked look almost to it, which is obviously not going to show anywhere. That's a definite benefit of this knife. And it was designed as an EDC knife, hence the name. Something you carry every day, something that's a medium size that's going to do in pretty much any cutting task you need. But it's not going to weigh too much. I mean, 4.5 ounces is really good weight for a titanium frame lock. And, it's a great size EDC knife. The blade is really handsome. It's also got a really dark stonewash on it. You can see the Dervish Knives logo there. Dervish Midtech even on there. So it came super sharp out of the box. I mean, really sharp. And John did say that he actually had his hand on every single one of these Midtechs. It was all CNC machined, but he assembled them and sent them out before. He made sure he had his hands on each individual knife before they were sold. So that's kind of nice to know that the custom maker really had his hands on it. I think sometimes with Midtech knives, that's not always the case. They may, look it over, oversee production, but they don't necessarily, check every single one of them. So you can tell because this action is ridiculous. It's just so flawless. And a lot of knives are on bearings, The Dauntless is on bearings, and it's got a good action. And, but it's just not quite as smooth. It's close, not quite as smooth. So that's one of my favorite things about the Dervish Midtech is the action. The blade shape is great. The size is great. So overall, it's a really good buy. It came in at $395 is what they were sold for. Secondary market, they're obviously going for more than that because there's limited production of these. I know a few are going to be available, like on the forums. He's got a Dervish Knives has a forum on USN, and I know he's had like some sales there for some customized versions. This is kind of your plain basic one. So. But I think, for being a Midtech, for how smooth the action is, and just how well put together the knife is, I think that's a good price. Because, a custom is going to cost you quite a bit more. So if you really like Dervish Knives designs and you want to get, one of his knives, you can't afford the custom, this is a great way to go. That's kind of, the whole idea behind Midtechs. I have found, because I've been on a lot of Midtechs, gotten a lot of Midtechs lately, that this one is of higher quality than the majority of them that I've handled. I think it's pretty close to. I've never had a Dervish custom, but from what I've heard from people that have had them, that this knife is right up there with the custom level. So it's actually quite a bargain. You just got to be able to find one. And a lot of people that watch my videos are gonna be like, "A bargain? That's expensive." Well, it is what it is. It's a custom maker's knife, a limited production run. I shouldn't say production, a limited run of the knife, and you get what you pay for. So it's an excellent design. Just get you some more macro shots here, how heavy that stonewash is. It's never going to show wear. I mean, it's just you're never going to notice even use this knife. Same with on the blade. You see that, how smooth? I mean, I kind of even like muffed that up and I was still able to catch my nail and just easily sweep that open. It's nice. Really heavy deep stonewash there. So that's going to not show any wear either. I do like this style of opening the thumb hole. It's not a spidey hole, it's more of a oval. Almost a rectangular hole, but a lot of people are using that Chavez on that Megalodon. Another one that comes to mind is the El Patron by Calavera Cutlery, Jeremy Robertson. Very kind of similar knives. Use similar opening methods. They almost look really similar. So, but that is my first impressions, guys, of the Dervish Midtech. I've had this for a few days, been carrying it, using it, and so far it's been great. I was glad I was able to pick one up. Like I said, my only complaint, because everything else is pretty much perfect about this knife, is this kind of this pocket clip. You can see how it raises, and it's very similar to the Crying Shard Midtech that had that same kind of lifted clip, and I just felt it in my hand, and it's, like I said, not a hot spot, because I can really grip it, and if I do some serious cutting and I do a lot of pressure, you're not gonna see a mark on my hand. You just feel this hump right here. So, and it might be different for your hands versus my hands. It might be one of those things. I have noticed if I grip it like this, I don't even feel it. But if I just kind of grab it naturally, I do feel a little bit. So again, not a huge deal. Just kind of giving you a heads up if you're looking at this knife and you're interested in it. It's phenomenal. The action is worth it alone. I mean, plus it's just a sexy looking knife. It's just awesome looking. Love the design elements of the knife. Love how the lines flow. I like the milling here in the titanium. It gives it some cool extra, custom look to it. It's not just plain titanium handles. So the deep heavy stonewash is a cool, the decorative pivot, and yeah, the solid lockup. What's that about? Let's say 40% lockup, which is good. There is no steel lock bar insert on this, so take that for what it's worth. Probably won't move much at all. But the action, guys, is where it's at on this knife. It is super buttery smooth. Just great. So, alright, that's my video on the Dervish EDC Midtech. Any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we will see you on the next video.